Hi, boys and girls. Welcome to our math 9.3, where we will be measuring with centimeters. So I'd like you to get out your centimeter ruler. Follow the line that has the numbers close together. Those are centimeters. And your 9.3 paper. And we'll first find out how Jessie Bear measures with centimeters.
How do you use a centimeter ruler to measure length?
Hi there! Some people were collecting flowers in the woodland today. They are going to put them in a small vase, and in order to fit, the flower stems may have to be cut shorter. Hey, this pink flower looks ready to pick, but we should measure it so we know where the stem should be cut. Click the pink flower to get a better look. So, what's the length of this flower? We have a centimeter ruler, but I'm not quite sure how to use it. Come on, let's go learn some more about it.
Unit cubes are a centimeter long on each side. Let's use unit cubes to measure the length of this chalk. Line up the left edge of the first unit cube with the left edge of the chalk. Let's place more unit cubes side by side without any gaps between them until we make a row as long as the chalk. So what's the length of this chalk measured in unit cubes? This chalk is 2 unit cubes long. Since each cube is a centimeter long, this means the chalk is about 2 centimeters long. Now, let's use unit cubes to measure the length of this chalk. Always line up the left edge of the first unit cube with the left edge of what you are measuring. Let's place more unit cubes side by side without any gaps between them until we make a row as long as the chalk. 2 cubes, 3 cubes, 4 cubes, 5 cubes, 6 cubes, 7 cubes, 8 cubes. So how many unit cubes long is this chalk? This chalk is 8 unit cubes long. This means the chalk is about 8 centimeters long. Some objects don't line up exactly with the centimeter marks on a ruler. Let's measure the length of this ribbon to the nearest centimeter. Measuring to the nearest centimeter means finding the centimeter mark that's closest to the end of the ribbon. Drag the ruler to line up the 0 mark with the left edge of the ribbon. It's important to line up the left edge of the ribbon with the 0 mark on the ruler. It's important the space between the 0 mark and the 1 mark is equal to 1 centimeter. The space between the left edge of the ruler and the 1 mark is more than 1 centimeter. So if you measure from the left edge of the ruler instead of the 0 mark, you'll get the wrong measurement. Which centimeter mark is closest to the other end of the ribbon? That's right! This ribbon is about 10 centimeters long. Now let's practice with the Now try your homework on.
Thanks for helping me measure the flower with the centimeter ruler. See you soon!
Okay, so here we are with our math page. We have lesson 9.3, and the title is Measure with a Centimeter Ruler. Now, this is my centimeter ruler. It has centimeters on one side, and it has inches on the other. So I'm going to be using the centimeter side. So that's where the numbers are close together. Now, this says, our essential question, how do you use a centimeter ruler to measure lengths? So our instructions are, find 3 small objects in the classroom, or if you're at home, this could be at home. Use unit cubes to measure their lengths. And draw the objects and write their lengths. So if you don't have the little green unit cubes, you can just use your centimeter ruler. If you can make little 1 centimeter squares, that would be great, because then you can take an object like this card and just line up all the little centimeter squares or cubes right alongside of it, and you can see how long it is. So I'm just going to use my centimeter ruler, and I'm going to start with this little card. This is just a little counting card, and I'm going to measure the long side of this counting card. Now I'm going to line it up right at the very, this edge here is lined up with the very beginning of the centimeter ruler. And then we see about what, I don't know if you can see that, but about what number it ends on. So it looks to me like it ends on about the number 7. Not exactly, but that's what it's closest to. And that's what we want to pay attention to when we're measuring. So that's going to be our first object. And so all I have to do is draw my little card. And whatever you find, you draw whatever you find. It may not be the same as mine, and mine was 7 centimeters. Now the next thing I found around my house was a little bottle of paint, a little bottle of red paint. These are fun to use. They're little blotters, and you can do some fun projects with it. So I line the edge of it up with the very beginning of my centimeter ruler. If I start here, it won't give me the right answer. Or if I don't line it up on the edge, it will be too long. So I have to line it up right there. So this one's a little longer. Yeah, it looks like it's about closest to 12 or 13. So I'm going to look at it a little more closely. I'm going to say about 13. So that's my little bottle of paint. So I'm just gonna draw the little bottle of paint, and that was about 13 centimeters. Okay, the next thing I found was this wonderful marker. It's one of my favorites because it has a brush on one side and it has a fine point on the other side. Does that make any difference when we're measuring? Well, no, but we are going to measure it with both caps on. So we want to put it up to our centimeter ruler, and not in the middle, and not even at the 1, but all the way at the beginning. The beginning of your object has to line up with the beginning of the centimeter ruler, and then you follow it all the way to the end. And what number does it end on? Oh, wow, it's almost exactly 16. So I'm going to draw the pen, and that was a long pen. Whoa, that wasn't very straight. It's very hard to draw on the computer. So I can guarantee that all the students are going to draw a better pen than I can. So there's the caps on the end. And that was, do you remember? Yes, 16 centimeters. Okay, and so we're going to move on to the next page. Okay, so on our second page here, we are going to be using our centimeter ruler to measure some objects. So the first one is, what is the length of the crayon to the nearest centimeter? So if you line up the crayon with the 0 and you look at where the end of it lands, it's right about at the 9. So of course we have these reminders to line up the left edge of the object with the 0 mark on the ruler. So that's the left edge with the 0 mark. And then we have 9 centimeters. So next we are going to, we don't really need to trace that, but I just did. And next we're going to move down and measure the paintbrush and the ribbon. So up at the top I have my centimeter ruler, and hopefully you have your centimeter ruler handy so you can measure these on your own paper and see if my ruler is right. My ruler may not be exactly right because this is, I'm doing it on the computer. So you can check it out for me. Okay, so what we want to do is look at the left side, and we want to make sure that we line up this ruler with the very end of the paintbrush and follow it all the way over. And what is it closest to? I know it's almost at the 15. It's closer to 15 than 14. And since it's closer to the 15, we're going to say that it is 15 centimeters long. So I'm going to move this ruler down here, and we're going to write 15 because that's what we got for the paintbrush, 15 centimeters. Okay, then we're going to move the ruler to the ribbon. Now, sometimes people want to start right at the 1, but that's not where we start with a ruler. We always start at the very first mark on the ruler. So what number is it closest to? Not the 7, not the 9, but the 8. That is the number that it is closest to. So we're going to move that down, and we're going to put 8. Unless you got a different number, since I don't have my paper, I'm not sure if my computer is right, but that is why if you have your ruler, you're checking it out to make sure that it's right, using centimeters, not inches. And I know I've shown in some of the other videos that if you flip the ruler around, I'll show you. If you're measuring with inches, well, it looks like this is 4 or 5 inches long, and that's it. But with the metric system of centimeters, the numbers are closer together, so there's going to be more numbers. And so if we line the left edge of the ruler up with the left edge of the paintbrush, we see that it is in between the 11 and 12, but if you look at where the line is, it's a little closer to the 12. This is the mark for the 12. It's a little closer to 12 than 11. So we're going to go ahead and put 12 there. Now, also another thing we do when we're measuring objects is we compare the lengths of the objects. So which one of these is longest? You can tell just by looking at the paintbrushes, and it's 15. And we can tell that it is 7 centimeters longer than the ribbon because 15 minus 8 equals 7. So it's fun to make those comparisons. Okay, we're ready to move on to the next. Now on this page, it says on your own. So I would like you to try to pause the video right now and take a few minutes to measure these objects on your own, and then we'll measure them together and see what you came up with. So I'm going to get my ruler and measure these on my own, And hopefully you have your ruler and you'll be able to measure these on your own. So there's my ruler. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line it up. And if you want to look at my ruler and write down the answer, you can do that, just in case you don't have a ruler. So look at where I lined my ruler up and see what you get. So there's the pencil. Write down what it's closest to if you haven't already. And you can sort of check your answers too. And there's the marker. See what number that is closest to. Here's the little bookmark maybe. See what that is closest to. And last we have this ribbon way down here. And what number that's closest to. Okay, so let's write in our answers. Okay, this one is just a little more than 12, but 11's way over here and 13's way over here. So we're going to say that it is 12 centimeters. So we're going to go ahead and write 12 right here. Okay, and moving down to the pencil, it looks like it is closest to 7. So we're going to write 7 right there. And then moving on to the marker. The marker looks like it is closest to 11. So we're going to write 11 for the marker. Right. Oh, I have to move that first. Okay. 11. Okay, so next we're going to measure the little bookmark. I think this is a bookmark. And if you think it's closest to 8, you are correct. It is closest to 8. It doesn't have to be perfectly 8, but closest to 8. And our last one, this blue ribbon, it is, you have to really line it up, especially with centimeters because they're so small. It's not close to the 11, it's closer to 12. So do you see another object on this page that is close to 12 centimeters? Oops, kind of went out of the way there. Okay, so the top bookmark or ribbon is about the same size as the bottom one. So so we're going to write 12 centimeters. And we can grab that ruler again just to check and make sure. Okay, so that is about 12. Now I think the top one may have been a little bit more than 12. So, but still close to 12. Yeah, so that one was a little bit more than 12, but still closer to 12 than 11 or 13. Okay, so we're moving on to the next page. Okay, now we have math on the spot. And this is our problem. The crayon was on the table next to the centimeter ruler. The left edge of the crayon was not lined up with the 0 mark on the ruler. And so what is the actual length of the crayon? And explain how you found the answer. So we're going to check math on the spot and see how they get the answer.
Hey, Jeannie, what's in the box?
Oh, it's for my show and tell with Mrs. Sandoval. It's a sneeze.
A sneeze?
Mm-hmm.
You can't keep a sneeze in a box.
Oh, sure you can. You just sneeze into a box and put the lid on it really fast.
Can I have a look inside?
Well, if you do, it'll get out.
I guess so. Let's do some math and have some fun.
Oh, that would be great.
Okay, here we go. So, take a look at this here. The crayon was on the table next to a centimeter ruler. Now, the left edge of the crayon was not lined up with the 0 mark on the ruler. The question is, what is the length of the crayon? Now, you see, a lot of people would look at this and say, oh, well, the length is going to be 12 centimeters because that's where this right end is.
Yeah.
But that only works if, in fact, the left end is lined up with the 0 mark.
I see.
So here, since it's not lined up, one thing we could do is just count the centimeter spaces starting at the left and seeing how many centimeters there are. So let's not worry about these numbers. Let's just count the spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I see that there must, in fact, be 8 centimeters, and this thing has a length of 8 centimeters.
Well, how about that?
And we can check it, actually, by sliding the ruler over. Check it out.
Okay.
If I let the left side be at 0, then we see...
You counted correctly.
Exactly. So the length of the crayon is 8 centimeters. And one way that we did that was counted the centimeter spaces from one end of the crayon to the other.
Oh, thank you, Professor. Being able to measure things is very important.
That's right. Now, can I have a look inside the box and see the sneeze?
All right, but just a really short one.
All right.
Don't let it out, Professor.
Okay, now you're saving it.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yep. Put it quick. Don't do. Okay, one more time. Oh,
Wow, I'm impressed. You really captured a sneeze.
I know.
Have fun thinking about math. We'll see you soon.
Okay, so we saw in the video that since the crayon is not lined up at the right space on the ruler, what we want to do, we can just count the centimeter spaces from one end of the crayon to the other end without paying any attention to the numbers that are on the ruler. And then another thing that they did was line the ruler up the correct way, starting at the 0 with the left end of the crayon. So what we need to do is answer the question for what is the length of the actual length of the crayon and how we got it. So we're going to just say that I counted the number of centimeters that the crayon was on the ruler. And that's good enough. That's all we really need to do. So we counted that. Oh, but we also have to say what was the length, and the length was 8 centimeters, and we can do an abbreviation of cm for the centimeters. Okay, and so for this question, one more question. This is Lee's string. Hannah's string is 7 centimeters long. Whose string is longer? And use a centimeter ruler to find out. Okay, so I'm going to get my centimeter ruler. Okay, so this is Lee's string, and our question is, we always want to pay attention to what our question is. So the question is, whose string is longer? And we have Lee and Hannah. So, and the only information that we know right now is that Hannah's string is 7 centimeters long. So we're going to have to measure Lee's string here to find out if it's longer than 7 centimeters or shorter. What do you think? Well, let's see. Lee's string is only about 3 centimeters long. So definitely Hannah's string is longer. And so since the question asks us whose string is longer, then we want to write Hannah's. We don't write a number. All we have to do is write, and we can write a complete sentence. That's probably better. Hannah's string is longer. And we could even say how much longer it is if we wanted to. Do you know? If Lee's string is 3 centimeters and Hannah's is 7, how many centimeters longer is that? 7 minus 3, that's 4 centimeters. So we could say Hannah's string is 4 centimeters longer than Lee's. And there we go. So I hope you had a good time in math today. And if you need to pause the video to write or to try to figure things out, always pause or go back. And so we'll see you next time tomorrow for 9.4. Thanks for watching.